Auzubillahi minasyaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Omar A. Imam, President of the National Association for Bangsamoro Education Incorporated, an umbrella organization of Muslim private schools and madaris in the Philippines. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the people of Cotabato City, Muslims, Christians, and indigenous people, that after almost 2 years of waiting, your resounding voice, democratic will, and peaceful struggle to become part of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao was finally addressed by the national government. Today, December 15, 2020, is historic and significant moment as it marks a brighter future for Cotabato City and its constituents. Alhamdulillah, NABI is very grateful as part of the founding members of the League of Bangsamoro Organizations and continued to work with this network in all its programs and activities during the BBL crafting and lobbying and the later BOL campaign and the plebiscite. As LBO focused its campaign in Cotabato City, NABI mobilized its member schools and madaris in Maguindano and Cotabato City, which sent teachers and students to rallies and assemblies, produced campaign materials, and contributed tens of thousands costs of financial and logistical support for LBO-led CSO campaign in Cotabato City. Since exclusive power on education is a major gain of the Bangsamoro under BOL, NABI believes that the inclusion of Cotabato City in BARMM will further develop the education sector in Cotabato City, both public and private. In support to the position of LBO, NABI wishes that the proposed extension of BTA will be approved, and if possible, it will extend until 2028 so that the fullest potentials of the Bangsamoro government will be finally achieved. That is total change of system and culture towards moral governance. Finally, our appeal to everyone that it is time to close the book, rest the case on this issue, and move forward as a member of the BARMM family. Shukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala jami'an wabarakatuh. Pagkapangalan siya na ipakilala ko sumako sa si Abdul Basir Salik Mustafa, President of Ibalaton Socio-Economic Development Foundation, muasasatun Ibalaton litanmiyaton iktisaliyaton ijtimaiyya. Sa kuna ba niya ang mga timpo na suportan ng kanulauta sabab sa iganat kanu 2014 kinapremove tano, taman kanu 2019 at kinaprebisit tano na sa kunapon niya ang mga tempo niya ba katabuan na December 15 na subiting kapasan tano kanu kinaprevisito sa niya ni Mana na asal masakop sa Cotabato City na alhamdulillah na i-turn over sa niya pa doon kay una December 15 sa kanu Cotabato City to BARMM government. Alhamdulillah. Ikadua siya na so ICDF na full support kang maning-maning ang kagahanda ng mga CSO, so civil society organization at ang kasungin pa dyan ang mga organization sa kanumaning-maning ang kapagitong sa panon iukit ang ka-extend ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority so BTA sa gamanat kanu iganat kanu 2022 taman sa kanu 2028 umana ko ka makakatanong inshallah niya labi kapianin balmanan ko. So ICDF na po support kang maninganin ang kapagitong ng mga CSO sa kanukit o ka-extend ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority sa iganat kanu 2022 tamang kanu 2028 inshallah. Siya taman, syukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A'udzu billahi samiul alim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wabad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. I am now Pius Man and I am a National President of Muslim Youth Brotherhood or MYB. Our organization MYB supported the BOL before pre-visit by doing the barangay campaign, house-to-house campaign, parade, barangay-wide orientation, giving of campaign materials like brochures, stickers, and thousands of flaglets to the individuals, drivers, and house to house. And during BON, visit, the MYB was fully supported the said election by doing our tasks as poll watchers, assistors to our assigned area and precinct. After the election, the MYB is continuously organized to support indirectly to the new governance we call the moral governance. Now, the MYB wish to the Cotabato city that now in BARMM is to support the good leadership and moral governance. The MYB is still and continues to strongly support and calling for the extensions of BTA from 2022 to 2028. Finally, the MYB is calling the attentions of our beloved Cotabateños to support the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister Ahud Al-Haj Murad Balawag Ibrahim, because the moral governance and fully peaceful in Cotabato City is coming, inshallah. Sukran. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Na Sultan Anwaruddin Bangun Defense Association Incorporated atau Ketua Das Incorporated. Nabanto gaya di siyang pagkakti na magtito-tito mas lainnya gaya siya ba kapapantag ka rin finally maanda din dito sa Cotabato City na bangsa mo ito ng Muslim ng Mindanao resulta ng plebiscite kan January 21, 2019. Pagari namin Abdas Incorporated kapag kanong Rico Bangsa Organization na isa kanong mangumpungan na CSO minggalabog sa tama na magaganin apya iganat pang kanong pinapangalan kanong Bangsa Basic Law ang tubay ng bola Bangsa Organic Law ang madakil alam na doon sa mga activity ay namungan man sa assembly para makapas pagkanay para kapas sa kongreso Bangsa Basic Law sa Mumbai Akitaban na makatindig sa Bangsa Muslim. Nasa nito mamitiasa nito makapantad sa kunaban ng turnover na natapanginin na napiyabo ni maungan niya. Kung paano kinapangalan sa niya ba before visit pa niya na to radio kapag suwag da sa minugan na daw niya yes for BOL movement composed of 7 organizations mana to NGO, UBKP, BF Napulco, Women Group and Barangay Officials at ito aming galabot sa panahon ikatuntay sa Himba Ikapinan ang makalulot sa Cotabato City sa siya kanupang sa Moriton Freedom Mission Mindanao kanumuma at January 21, 2019 sa visit. Himba Ipingalabot kano nangalabot po niya ba LBO kapit so Abdas mana so Barangay Assembly so kina house to house campaign para makabuto sa Cotabato City tinanggay sa mga reading materials para kasabutan ng Himba Ikapinan makaurot sa BARMM sa Cotabato City, mga pagpanagrebukan sa kinapamit sa tarpaulin, mga flaglets, kinapa ngay sa mga t-shirt ang printing na luka sa butas kapenano makaurot sa Cotabato City. Madaka sa may tinanggabot, marami mga example sa mga caravan, motorcycle ang ibuan, mga bagadan ang ibuan, at yaso caravan no mga pambot at pinilabak po no first time at pinilabak ko League of BARMM organization. Kapag panuba na madakal ipinilabak ka asa katuntayan so kapenano kabuto no Cotabato City sa yes. Kano timpo no previsit na so abdas mo nung pagpana CSO under sa LBO na siya man nung minamol ka no Bangsamoro pre-election movement or BPM mid-sabunal tinamamang sa mga presinto asa amapya ng makabuto tao sa yes sa Cotabato City. Alhamdulillah na natuman sa nakataban sa Cotabato City, nakataban sa previsit sa nakaul sa Cotabato City siya sa BARMM. Kapantag mo nun siya kapag-suporta sa maya Bangsamoro Transition Authority Extension na so abdasing corporate through kaspan sa LBO na unconditional support the extension of not only 3 years but 6 years extension na para makapangadan lupa makatuman no government of the Philippines so Bangsamoro Autonomous Region ng Muslim Mindanao. Sing kanu dua siya kanu political track, no siya kanu normalization track. Madakil pa ni damang galabok sa una. Isang ang tanol juan. Ito ba sa may kami na niya namin po suporta na namulago ni ipasa na Congress ay extension no Bangsamoro Transition Authority. Makapantag mo nun siya kanu last nimba i-word ko kanu pagdaruan niya turnover sa una na I'm calling the constituents of Cotabato City, particularly those who voted for no, that it's time we have to be united. Na dapat ang Cotabato City ay ma-under na sa BARMM. Maraming mga advantage. Tulad halimbawa, additional socio-economic development program na maibigay sa Cotabato City tulad sa area ng 5 provinces na ng BARMM, rather, mga local fund at saka ang multi-donor institution ay nagbibigay rin sa tulong sa Cotabato City, including the national government ay nasa BOR na tulungan ng BARMM. So kasama ang Cotabato City. So our final word at pakiusap sa mga Cotabato City, panahon na para magkaisa ang Bangsamoro. Shukran. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, ingala nulig o Bangsamoro Organization, so LBO, nasakupin so MATPAD, Mindanao Alliance of Tribes for Peace and Development, Saki so lusod sa piyansa sa Bangsamoro, mana si Abdul Latif Tindatun Sabber, founding chairman no MATPAD, Mindanao Alliance of Tribes for Peace and Development. Bali, pagsupuran namin sa Allah Ta'ala, pagsupuran namin sa LBO, kano kinapangandan no LBO sa yanin mana na kasuputan sa dito so mana so nangahito santo kinapangandan sa plebiscite sa iya mapangandan na makapatuntay sa madakla tao sa iya kabutuan no tao na mana suyes kasuyes na yanin unga na makagkapya siya kano madakla tao mana sa Bangsamoro dekan na matag bubang Samoro kasulangon no nasakop o Bangsamoro lagi na kamay ito ba na yan namin kapitsukuron na yan ang usto na so sekretary atawa so nag-check kano matpat kano tempo at kasagsagan na arunan to na apya luka gaya at orinin na alhamdulillah nanabong kanggulanin sa marake at kanggula aron nato pambatayin so isa aron nato pagpatay na sa kanina alhamdulillah nabigyan pa mo sa kuna nataman sa saguna anya ulan-ulan mana so December 15, 2020 na naka-turn over dun sa Cotabato City siya sa BARMM, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Amin ya Allah. Sulangwang ng mga taga-para sa LBO, Pichupuranani, kasalasalamin sa Presidente no League of the Bangsamoro Organization, mana si Brother Hasim Mantubayan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sa Presidente Numatbat Abdullah Pagbatang Saka.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ako po si Abdul Basit Benito, ang Chairman Board of Trustees ng Bangsamoro Center for Justice o BCJP. Noong napirmahan ang Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro, isa ang BCJP sa nagalak at nagdiwang sapagkat naaninag natin ang mailap na kapayapaan. Kasama po ang BCJP sa pagsusulong noon upang tuluyan ng may sa batas ang Bangsamoro Organic Law. Alhamdulillah at nagtagumpay tayo. Nagtagumpay ang Bangsamoro sapagkat maliban sa mga probinsya na dati nang nasa BARMM, na ipanalo na rin natin ang 63 barangay sa North Cotabato at higit sa lahat, naibalik natin ang Cotabato City sa piling ng Bangsamoro. Ngayong araw na ito ay sadyang makasaysayan sapagkat opisyal nang maiturn over ang mahal natin lungsod ng Cotabato mula sa Region 12 sa piling ng BARMM. Inaasahan natin sa mga susunod na araw, matatamasa natin ang katahimikan, kaunlaran sa Bangsamoro, lalong-lalo na sa mahal nating lungsod at sa buong area ng BARMM. Kung kaya't kami nananawagan ng pagkakaisa, pagtutulungan, pagmamahalan upang makamtam natin ang tunay na kapayapaan at kaunlaran sa Bangsamoro. Kami umaapila din sa mga mahal nating mambabatas sa Kongreso at Senado na bigyan pa ng 3 taong extension ang Bangsamoro Transition Authority upang kainilang may sakatuparan ang kanilang mandato, lalong-lalo na ang normalization aspect ng peace agreement. Welcome, Cotabato City. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sokran.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Taki si Brantong Benito at Kapapantagan, a program officer and one of the representatives of the Bangsamoro Muslim Aid in the Philippines Incorporated, BIMAP. Sa ingalan ng leadership ng BIMAP na ipagsampay ko sa kapadsala-sala kung kanunya ba agay December 15 para sa official turnover ng Cotabato City kaya sa BARMM. Katawan tanulangon, iunga inyaba na pinapagapas tanulangon. To BIMAP in particular, na active at kinapagigyamunin kanulangon aping gula ndo katulang ng LGO na nakatabang sa kinatabang na yes to all. Yan ino pa man na sa Leaders Peace Summit, Peace Rally, Advocacy Campaign, lobbying, ginambantay sa deliberation ng ball, kanubay cameral conference, signature campaign, pinapangangay sa libre at key holders, maadan prince nin a yes to ball, ano kapadpad. Kapanganganay ng BIMAP, ikalunsanan pan sa kagkapya Cotabato City, sa kuna nasyadan sa kanin officially under the BARMM. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ipagsampay ko bon to strong support ng BIMAP kano extension ng BTA from 2022 to 2028 kanyabo ba ikatawan nami kaukit ang makatapon ay salkitan ulangon ng gobyerno nung nakadalang sa unlegalized no ball labi din sa normalization track. Madakal pan idala makanggulalan siya butaman. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dia kita sir kita ma'am. So, Bangsamoro Communication Network o BCN kanilin kabiya ginawa ni pagkatsuko sa Cotabato gay December 15, 2020 napaka-turnover din sa Cotabato City na Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Muslim Mindanao. Ba't ka no sabab kanilin ni na para siya tanda sa kapagadatan sa peace agreement na napirma no Imailep sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas. Kadua, nagkagyan sa Araga, so suara no madakla tao, nagsuara nirang kano timpo no plebiscite, kano kinaratify kano Bangsamoro Organic Law. Katawan tano isu Cotabato, iganat sa ganatan, aparted sa kanino Bangsamoro Mampan. Pindatuan ng mga Lucas tanong, nakamalambon sa kanino mga Christian settlers, may tubon sa mga Buddhist settlers. Sa Bapro, nakapagkaalat na Cotabato na sa BARMM na kanina pagkabago kano government practices kapitsambi sa region at pagkasakop kano Cotabato. Kagina kami ito, tarimanta niya, sukuran tanong, luyulit tano sa kapamagkaya sa sarit kagkakalimoy ndo kapamagayon kaando sumigay sa Cotabato kasigay akna matag-matag po kasigay mga agama Islam. Syukran, jazakumullahu khair jaza, rutan mangingarap sa bara sa Allah na suwatan no lusulus ang kanong agama Islam, Presidente ng National Executive Officers ng Bangsamoro Communication Network BCN, ya Buturab, balingan, salam. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I am Shalimar Candao, Board Member of the Nurusalam National Women's Council. The Nurusalam National Women's Council support towards the fusion of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao and the inclusion of Cotabato City began even before the plebiscite happened in Cotabato City to ratify the Bangsamoro Organic Law. Nurusalam had continuously and tirelessly worked for peace and support the peace process. We were in the Congress and the Senate alongside the other Bangsamoro women organizations during the hearing of the Bangsamoro Organic Law and eagerly talked to members of both houses to state our organization's position and why the Bangsamoro Organic Law is very important for us as women. During the campaign in the city, we spoke to civic organizations and the non-government organizations to rally their support for the inclusion of the city. We distributed campaign buttons and flaglets that support the yes vote and all over the region to tell people what the inclusion stands for in our history as a nation. I and my fellow sisters in Nurusalam had wished for the inclusion of our home city, which is the crown jewel of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, to promote the diversity of our region. Cotabato City is a melting pot of all peoples that Bangsamoro represent, which is why we not only wish, but we will also work hard for it to prosper in its inclusion. Cotabato City has long been a dream city, where the Bangsamoro culture will promote everything that is positive in our identity. We wish for it to become that dream city where development is inclusive and equitable. We wish for our city to become the aspiration of all cities who also dream of their own right to self-determination and of a sustainable peace and development for all. This is why we firmly support the Bangsamoro Transition Authority extension. Working towards our right to self-determination and to fully implement the peace agreement is not possible in the 3 years given to us. No peace agreement was fully implemented in such a short period anywhere else in the world. For our peace process to succeed, the people must work hard with the government to implement the provisions of the law that are crucial in changing the lives of the Bangsamoro people and give us our right to govern ourselves the way we envisioned it. The government's sincerity and commitment to peace must prevail. An extension is a must for us to see the peace process through this transition. Mubarak, and with the guidance from the Almighty Allah, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Insyaallah khair. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. In behalf of the officials and members of the Bangsamoro Professionals Association in the Philippines Incorporated, we would like to send our message of support to the occasion of the turnover of Cotabato City to BARMM. First of all, we would like to give you a brief background of the Bangsamoro Professionals Association in the Philippines Incorporated. This organization is a product of a healthy discussion of small group of concerned professionals with the topic, the aspiration of Bangsamoro on self-determination, peace and development. In the course of our discussion, we asked the question, how can we support? Because as of the moment, there were a lot of professionals who can articulate some of the aspects of development in this region. We came to the idea to organize ourselves and register that organization to the Securities and Exchange Commission. From there, we invite some of our close friends to gather better ideas on how to make things happen in a short period of time. Alhamdulillah, one of us facilitated the SEC registration, and on March 12, 2014, BPAP SEC registration was approved. Like other civil organizations, we have also vision and mission. We envision that BPAP will be the dynamic prime mover of human development in the Bangsamoro towards the attainment of highest degree of professionalism and stewardship. Our mission is to provide an avenue for unity and solidarity, capability building through education, training, and research, with the maximum coordination and networking between and among professionals and higher education training and institutions in the Bangsamoro region. We have a lot of objectives and targets in the long term. Today, on the occasion of the turnover of Cotabato City, it is very historic on our part because we know that this home city will be covered by BARMM, the government that we long dream of. Because of this, we can say, Alhamdulillah, we have the Bangsamoro Organic Law, we have the BARMM, and we have now Cotabato City. We must thank His Excellency President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in his full support in the Muslims in the southern Philippines. Lastly, the Bangsamoro Professionals Association in the Philippines Incorporated strongly support the extension of the BARMM transition period to 2025. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi wa bihi nasta'in. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Wa ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ito po si Professor Tahir Nal, the President of former Overseas Bangsamoro Workers. Kami po sa former Overseas Bangsamoro Workers ay binabati namin ang aming mga kababayan Cotabateños, maging sila man ay Muslim o Kristiyano, sa araw na to ng pag-transfer o turnover of Cotabato City to the BARMM or Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Ito po ay malaking pasasalamat natin sa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sapagkat after more than a year of waiting, sa wakas ay dumating na rin ang pagkakataon na to na ang Cotabato City ay formal nang ma-turn over sa supervision ng BARMM. Lahat po tayo alam po natin na actually it's been decided since January of 2019 when we overwhelmingly voted, I mean the constituents of Cotabato City had overwhelmingly voted for yes to BOL. Yun po ay ang nagbigay na sa kanila ng legal na karapatan upang sila o ang Cotabato ay maisali sa teritoryo ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Pero sa hindi inaasahang pangyayari ay because we are living in a democratic country that we need to listen or to hear the voices of others or everybody in the society, in our community, ay kaya nga po medyo naantala po ito sapagkat meron pong dapat pang mga proseso na dapat gawin upang ito ay bago mapasalig sa supervision ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. We are congratulating our Cotabateño brothers and sisters for having this occasion today of the formal turnover of Cotabato City to the BARMM. Kami po ay fully supporting the people of Cotabato sa kanilang tagumpay na ito, na we are celebrating it and we are congratulating ourselves, all of us, for having this very momentous day for all of us. Kasali po rin dito sa aming panawagan, ang aming panawagan po, ang former Overseas Bangsamoro Workers ay nananawagan po sa liderato ng gobyerno natin, ang gobyerno ng Pilipinas, especially po ang our legislative branch of government, the House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines. Dito po sa extension ng transition period po ng Bangsamoro Transition Authority, sapagkat po ito po ay aming nakita na dapat at nararapat po para po sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas at sa mga present leaders of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, in order for them to have ample time to fulfill their mandates, their functions, their duties, in order to fulfill their mandates that's given by the law to them to fulfill. Maraming pong salamat. Wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.